Greetings everyone, Joseph James here from SchoolTrade.com, and this is your nightly newsletter for January 13th, 2010. Now before we get started with our totals today, I want to give you guys a big thank you for being so patient with me this week. I've been battling this cold ever since I came back from Mexico, and I've been underproductive. Of course, I want to give you guys a big thank you for allowing me some flexibility of getting caught up this week. I know you guys are used to me being a very productive person and always on top of everything, but boy, this cold really kind of ran me over. So I want to give you guys a really big thank you. Feeling better every day, and I think I'm going to get better back to 100% here towards the end of the week. But I really want to give you guys a thank you for being so patient. Let's get started with our newsletter. First up, let's talk about our totals for today. 4 trades total. We took 1 loss today. First loss of the new year. 2 on crude, 2 on gold, total up 17 ticks or $170. It was a pretty challenging day. We've got $1,000 in the bank this week alone, so $1,000 in the first week on only 4 contracts. We'll keep you guys posted throughout the rest of the month. Now guys, what's the most important thing that happened today? When we opened up our charts, we realized right away we had ourselves a relatively decent volume environment. Things were moving quite quickly, but we really weren't seeing all of our rules line up, right? We saw almost all of them. And the most important thing that happened today is we learned that almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Right now, I kind of laugh about that, obviously. But 100% of our rules are important, guys. We have to follow our rules no matter what they are. And remember, we have to define what your trading style is. Are you an aggressive trader or a conservative trader? And of course, based upon what your personality in the market is, we're going to help you structure the type of trades to be taking by using this term layers of risk. Now we'll talk more about the layers of risk term in another video. But what the biggest thing today was just simply sitting there waiting for the trades and obviously making sure all of the rules lined up. Okay, 70% of the rules doesn't make a high percentage trade, so we want to really be patient and wait for all the rules to line up, right? Momentum's got to curl. We want to see green paste of the tape. I want to see big buyers or sellers and a flurry of activity in the market to confirm the order, right? So tomorrow, we want to make sure we remember that 100% of our rules are important. Let's talk about the trades we took today. 4 trades, of course, 1 loss. Now we made 18 ticks here and then gave it all back. Of course, we'll show you guys that in a second. 907 here on the crude. Of course, NYMEX crude, symbol CL. This is a 2-step short. Now, of course, a 2-step pattern is a trend reversal pattern. So if we look here, guys, the short-term trend here was up. We, of course, had the high of day here. Now, as you guys know, whenever we see the high of the day, I'm always thinking reversal, right? Shorting that high of day. Well, we have a wonderful pattern called our 2-step pattern. It's a trend reversal pattern, and boy, it works exceedingly well. We mark up our swing low here, and then once we break below that swing low, of course, going counter trend now, right? Going up and bouncing off that high of day, looking to mark up that swing low just about that 80-30 level. Of course, we got filled here 80-28. We took a first target of 4 ticks, took half the position off, only 4 contracts here, so half off at the first target of 4 ticks. We then move our stop down to our point of entry, -1, okay, because it's a short trade. Lock in some profit there and eliminate risk. Now, this is a great example on this trade because we had to use what we call the 3-strike rule. The 3-strike rule says if we touch our target but we don't fill it 3 times, right? That's 1, 2, 3 times we test the target, but we don't fill the target, I'm then going to move my target manually to make sure we get that target filled. Now, right, thanks to that 3-strike rule, we were able to get a +4, +6 on this instead of a +4, +4. So, of course, 3-strike rule, put a couple more bucks in our pocket. 18 ticks total, guys, $180, of course, only on 4 contracts. And unfortunately, on our next trade, though, we gave it all back, and we'll show you guys right here. Next up on crude, not too long thereafter, but an hour later, 10-11 on crude. Now, we made 18 ticks on our first trade, and as you guys saw, the crude market was beginning to kind of walk down these stairs as it kind of trickled down the low of day. Now, what do we know about the low of day or the high of day? We've got to really see some aggressive sellers at the low of day. Well, we had that today, but it was kind of a little bit choppy around these lows sometimes, and we got bit on this first trade here to the short side. I'm sorry, second trade to the short side on this breaker short. 79.28 was the fill. This is one of those situations, guys, where when we play around at the extremes, you've got to be acceptable, right, for some of these losses. Okay, we have lots of great big winning trades around the high of day, low of day, and these are going to happen. Right, you're going to have these things where we got a lot of sellers here, but it just won't get the job done. This is a great example of it. Everything lined up, just didn't work out our way. Remember, guys, losses are okay, right? Everyone's going to take losses. It's how we react to those losses, of course, that are what are going to make us money in the long run. Well, we reacted by taking a short break. If you guys are with us this morning, right, I took kind of a 2-minute break and said, okay, guys, we've got to refocus, follow our rules, and remember, we don't want to follow up with another losing trade because that'll knock me out of the day. So I want to make sure I'm focused on high percentage setups. Now, in today's market, this was a bit of a challenge because we'd already seen a lot of opportunities that only got about 90% of the way, and we never got the confirmation we needed, and it didn't really line up all the way. So we were already seeing this environment that was going to be challenging. So it was a very difficult situation to calm down, refocus, and wait for that perfect setup. And of course, it came. It always does, right? It does take a little bit of waiting, though. And of course, now we're back over here on the gold. Okay, just about 10, 15 minutes later, didn't take very long. Short-term trend here was down. Again, at the low of the day, we had to see green paste of a tape. Momentum pointing down, large sellers followed by a bunch more, right? So we want to see that flurry in the market, that speed of the tape. We break below the low of the day here. Of course, also a swing low, 22.4 was the fill. We grabbed just a +4 on this one. When we moved our stop down to entry -1, we got clipped on it, but obviously it didn't fill us on that +1, filled us at our point of entry. Hey, that happens sometimes, guys, and we got 8 ticks out of it for $80. Okay, so at this point, we had made our money back. We were just barely in the green at this point, and of course, we're going to keep going here. Next and final trade was also on the gold, 1048 this morning. Now at this point, right, we were looking at yesterday's low of day. See this dotted blue line here, 1124? That's yesterday's low of day. And of course, we're always concerned about that because we expect price to get a little bit choppy around here. So we had to make sure we calculated our 6 ticks down, right? 1124.3 was the previous day's low of day. So I wanted to make sure I had my 6 ticks of room, right, between this swing high here and the previous day's low. I had just enough at the swing high. We got filled here, 1048 at 24 even. We took +4, moved our stop right up to entry +1, and then it came right back down, as you guys can see, and stopped us out. Now, we expected to see some choppy price action around here. What I wanted to make sure I did, though, was make sure I had all 6 ticks of room, right, according to our rules. That puts $100 in our pocket, and total them all up, guys. There's your 17 ticks on the day. We took a stop earlier on, but it was how we reacted to that stop. That was what made us money today. Let's prep for tomorrow. Thursday, January 14th. Kind of a big day tomorrow. 7:45 rate decision. 8:20, of course, gold and currencies open up. The markets open up. 8:30, we have our first initial jobless claims of the year of 2010. So you want to be here for 8:30 tomorrow morning, guys. 9 o'clock crude oil. 9:30 U.S. Open. 10 o'clock business inventories. And, of course, 10:30, we got your nat gas inventories number. And don't forget, guys, tomorrow is a Thursday. So we've got 11:30 a.m. right in the trade room. Let's recap. Live trade room opens up tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m., guys. 7:45. Come out and join us. If you're watching this video on our YouTube page right now, guys, below the video in the description, you'll see 2 links. One for the 12-month track record. Check out our 12-month track record, and also register for our free 3-week trial. We'll do webinars on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:30 a.m. Want to remind you guys the beginner's course shows all of our setups and our entry rules, so grab a copy of that. And